Good morning, people. Welcome to a game in the winners bracket, actually the winners bracket finals for the World Cyber Games Asian Championship. It is gonna be Orange versus MiTH. It is one game, best out of one, and we're gonna see which one of these teams will have the one game advantage going into the finals or grand finals of the double elimination bracket of this tournament. I have with me a co-caster today. His name is WhatIsHip. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be casting some Dota again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So.
Was it before the international that the last time it was for you?
Yeah, I haven't casted since before TI, so it's been a bit, but I'm back now.
A long time.
Oranges.
So who do you expect to take this game?
Well, I think Orange is the pretty clear favorite for pretty much the whole tournament. Although MiTH is a really good team, they haven't played in any big tournaments in a while, so it's going to be hard to tell what their performance is going to look like. How have they? I haven't seen too many of the games from before. How have they been doing in the beginning parts of the tournament? These fans are going super fast.
Well, versus Mineski, they actually had. It was a pretty even game for a long time, but MiTH able to take it in the end. I do think that, like you said, Orange is the favorite of this tournament, but MiTH can come out of the corner unexpected. We're gonna see if they're indeed gonna do that. I mean, there's a lot of heroes still in the pool that are normally banned out, like for instance the Darkseer, which is still in, and it's the Lycan, Naga Siren, the two jungle heroes, and the Nature's Prophet being banned out so far.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. Has Morphling been as prevalent in this tournament as he has been in the last several weeks? Oh, that makes me happy. I swear to God, if I see another Morphling, I'm gonna cry. But pretty common ban so far.
Yeah.
Oh my God, of course.
Oranges turn.
I say that
Yeah,
immediately.
I know. He was
Morphling.
picked up, I think, in one game yesterday, but he wasn't as dominant, and definitely he wasn't a first pick in the tournament so far. We even had a Lycan being picked up like as a third hero for someone. So, you know, it's not been all those standard picks and bans so far. Even though, you know, Morphling first pick, it is a solid hero. I mean, we can't fault MiTH for doing that, because Morphling is one of those heroes that has been on the winning side more often than not.
Yeah, absolutely. And the strength in Morphling is not just in his late game carry, it's the flexibility that he offers in the early parts of the game, because he's a pretty versatile laner, which is it's a pretty unique quality in a hard carry. He does okay in the mid lane, sometimes he'll struggle against some heroes, and obviously goes just fine in the easy lane, and he's super hard to kill because of Replicate, so it's just a good pick. He's a strong hero right now. Teams have figured out how to really play him well. We've seen teams rushing Ethereal Blade pretty often, and putting out tons of damage on supports, able to kill them really fast in the mid game. That gives him a huge advantage and propels him into the late game, usually with some huge items, Manta, Lincolns, Ethereal Blade, things like that. But Orange Esports picks up Rubik and Tidehunter and counter, and Rubik's actually a really fun pick against Morphling if he steals Morph. Gives him tons more health for free, basically.
Yep, and that is two very tanky heroes then picked up by Orange if you count that morph into if you take that morph into account on the side of Orange. I'm pretty curious to see if MiTH wants to go for some well, I was kind of expect them to go for a Enigma, since they banned out two jungle heroes, and which basically means that Enigma is the only one still in the pool. But with a Rubik on the side of Orange, that is not really gonna happen probably anytime soon anymore. They do pick up the Windrunner and the Templar Assassin, so in theory, MiTH is sorted for solo lanes for all lanes. They are very versatile with their last two pickups. They could go for a tri-lane, they could still go for a jungle hero if they want, they could go for basically anything. Even though I do think they're gonna go for something like an Earthshaker or a Sand King still to have some kind of team fight potential up against that Tidehunter. Even though they of course have to make sure that Rubik is not stealing those ultimates. Templar Assassin versus Rubik is at least a very good pickup. I mean, apart from the refraction, there's not that much that Rubik is really happy about stealing. I mean, okay, you can steal the traps, but it's not as it doesn't have as much impact as certain other heroes would have. And the Shrek being picked up by Orange as their third pickup before going into the next ban phase.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about picking up Templar Assassin in the first rounds of picks, because there's a lot of good ways to deal with Templar Assassin, with Refraction more specifically. So we'll have to see if Myth takes this opportunity to ban out a couple of those heroes that you generally think about countering TA. Someone like Venomancer is really effective in countering just because of the poison, and of course all of the wards that he's able to put down. Leshrac also a really good way to deal with Templar Assassin with Edict. So far, Orange's lineup in general looks extremely strong, extremely versatile. They can do pretty much whatever they want. Their lanes are still pretty flexible. Smith seems to be a little bit more locked in. It's going to be a little bit easier for Orange to ban against them. They've got their easy lane, they have their off lane, they have their mid lane, assuming they're going to run this pretty standard. So there's probably a couple good supports going to be banned out here from Orange. And one thing I do want to say is that a good reason that Myth picked up Morphling, they didn't want to have to deal with banning him first round because there's other heroes who are more important, but I'm sure they watched the International and watched Mushi play Morphling, and he has a super strong Morphling, so it's, you know, they're keeping it away from him without having to ban him, so it makes sense that they picked it up first, thinking about it now.
That is true. We did see Mushi playing the support Tidehunter either yesterday or the day before that, which was quite unusual for him to play. But we'll see if we can find out if we're gonna see, for example, Queen of Pain Mushi, a hero which he's famous for, which we did see yesterday as well. And it quite odd to me that Orange is actually the one banning out the Venomancer. As you said, it is a counter towards a Templar Assassin.
Turn to ban.
But I guess they just don't want to face that Venomancer Morphling combination to have. I mean, Morphling is one of those heroes that you want to have for late game. I mean, it's late game carry, but he is also pretty powerful early game. And with his weave form, with his weave, he will be able to do a good deal of good chunk of damage early game.
Absolutely, it's a pretty strong nuke early.
Yeah, and with of course the Venomancer there as well, very strong early game hero. They just don't want to give Morphling any chance to get any early game advantage other than he already has, being Morphling that he is. And Lone Druid and Anti-Maze banned out by MiTH Trust. I think very strong bans because they don't want to have anything that can go up against the Morphling, and basically now they're kind of forcing Orange to either go out of their comfort zone, maybe go for something unorthodox like a Faceless Void or something, or just to take a whole different strategy altogether.
Yeah, the other thing about this Venomancer ban, it might give us a small signal that Orange perhaps is going to be looking at a push lineup, but they banned out Enigma, so it's a little unlikely. I guess they thought Myth would pick it up first, but Venomancer is an extremely strong counter pusher. It's a really good way to turtle. You can put wards in front of towers at the top of your base and just give time for your Morphling to get super huge and unbeatable. And then with their bans out on their hard carry, they're basically assuring their Morphling's late game dominance because they banned out Anti-Mage, they banned out Lone Druid. Both of those heroes are extremely good at dealing with Morphling in the later parts of the game. Probably the best hard carries to counter Morphling in the later parts of the game. And since they don't have that option, now they're pretty much forcing Orange into an early game, like an early game pressure for them. Strategy. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, definitely. And having Crystal Maiden now on the side of Myth, I mean, solid pickup. They're really not giving anything away. Are they gonna go for Tri-Lane? It could be. They could still pick up the Earthshaker. For jungle heroes, I mean, the Enigma got banned out. I mean,
jungle options are pretty limited for them.
Yeah, the general options are now out of the pool, and it is a Dragonite. Okay, if you're talking about heroes that can take it up against the Morphling, I wouldn't instantly think Dragonite, but Dragonite is one of those heroes that can stay alive if Morphling gets big enough. If Dragonite gets a good start, then he'll be able to help out a lot. Chaos Knight would be another option, but I guess it's Dragonite that pulled the longer straw. Let's see what Myth's gonna do last. I think maybe Earthshaker or Sand King would still be very good, because right now, as soon as Orange gets their Tidehunter at level 6, gets their Dragonite at level 6, get their Rubik at level 6, there's all those heroes that can just roam around and push and get kills and take the advantage of the map. And Myth doesn't really have that much to do against it. I mean, they have a Windrunner, which can be considered a counter pusher, they have a Crystal Maiden, but, you know, as soon as she gets dived, she's dead. And Templar Assassin needs that good start to be able to have that effect on the game, so they need a hero that can stop the pushes coming out from Orange, I think.
Yep, and Dragonite's definitely going to assist Orange here with this push lineup that I think we're going to see, and they're going to pick up an Over Magi. That's not what I was expecting.
Nope. No, was
at all. But like I said before, Dragon Knight's level 6 ultimate is extremely good at pushing towers. In combination with Leshrac, they're going to be able to make short work of any lanes which are left unattended. And there's some decent presence in terms of map control for MiTH, so maybe they'll be able to deal with it. Traps are a good way to give you extra vision beyond words. Morphling, obviously, with Replicant can be in more places than a normal hero. It's pretty easy for him to move around the map, but they're going to have to be careful against this Leshrac DK, because if he pops level 6 and Leshrac's with him, they can probably get 1 or even 2 towers extremely easily.
Yeah,
I don't really see that much of an answer for that by MiTH, so...
No, and combining that with the Dragon Knight stun, guaranteed stun follow-up from Leshrac, and it's the Keeper of the Light. So you were talking about pushing power, well, they have it.
Yeah,
they have
here we go.
Yeah, they have a carry pushing power, they have a Keeper of the Light, I mean, need I say more? And of course, the ability to, as soon as Tidehunter gets level 6, that will make the massive difference for MiTH. It is only the Templar Assassin. Can she hold Orange long enough for their Morphling to get big enough to deal with that lineup from Orange? I am not sure. It will really depend on how the lanes are going to go, how it's going to be played, and I think we're going to find out shortly as the heroes are being picked up now. We actually have a disconnect from one of the players, but I'm sure we'll...
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's this is going to come down to execution. If Orange executes this the way they want to, I don't think MiTH is going to have a chance in this game. They don't really have an answer to that early game push between levels 5 and 7. Orange is going to be pushing unbelievably hard. They're going to have Dragon Knight with his ultimate. They're going to have Leshrac with level 4 Edict. They're going to have Coddle with level 4 Illuminate. They're going to have Rubik being able to steal spells like Refraction will let him dive past the tower. Power Shot will help clear the lane. They've got so many good ways to do some humongous early game damage, and if they can do enough damage, then I think we'll probably see MiTH get shut down. But they do have a pretty nice lineup for turtling. If they can make it past that, level 5 to 7 mark, if they can clear some room for this TA, or maybe get a big lane advantage, then they should have an okay time holding off that push. So execution is going to be super important here. Obviously, two very different team lineups with completely different objectives. So we'll see how it plays out. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'd have to probably give the edge to Orange a bit, just because I've seen them play recently, and this lineup is pretty sweet, extremely aggressive, but we'll see.
Yeah, on the other side, I mean, we haven't really talked that much about Ogre Magi just yet, but I find the pickup quite weird, and it could work out great, or it could work out bad. Basically, because he is the hero that relies so much on RNG, it is, I mean, with his multicast, you can't really count on really doing anything solid with that. I mean, maybe you can kill off Keeper of the Light if you're lucky enough with your multicast, but other than that, there's 2 very tanky heroes. And the other thing, though, which is actually a good thing about Ogre Magi, if Rubik steals a spell from Ogre Magi, Rubik won't have the buff that Ogre Magi has from the multicast. And that is
I imagine. Yeah, it makes it much weaker against Rubik, but I think I agree with you from before when you were talking about Sand-King. I think that would have been a much stronger pickup for MiTH just because of Caustic Finale. It's a good way to push the lane back, but we'll see how it plays out with Orange pushing out with 5 men.
Yep. I'll go over MiTH, see who's playing what. We have on the Radiant side R5 going to be playing that Ogre Magi support. We have Aba playing the Templar Assassin. Lakel's a carry player, will be going on the Morphling with the support of Trina Cub. And on the top lane, we will be seeing Tha, who is going to be on the Windrunner. We'll leave Orange.
And for Orange, we're going to have Extinct on Keeper of the Light. Winter's going to be playing Rubik. We're going to have Mushi on this Leshrac. Yamata playing the Tidehunter, and KYXY going to be playing the Dragon Knight.
Yep, and it looks like we have some technical issues with people disconnecting on the side of MiTH. We have to understand that these games are being played at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Center, so these games are being played live on, well, these are actually not on stage, but still, they are at a live event, so there may be some technical issues, and then all the players will be able to understand that without having too much talk in the chat going on, in case you're wondering why we don't see more about the reasons for pausing. Well, obviously everybody saw Lakel's disconnecting. But still, live games. This is also why there's no delay on the stream.
Which is good for us. I like having no delay.
Me too. It's like having a second co-caster on the chat. If something goes wrong, it's like overlay, then it's like instantly fixed.
And Winter is going out with a lot of wards here. He's got 2 sentry wards and 2 observer wards. So we'll see if they can get some good counter wards going. If they can, it's going to give them a pretty big lane advantage. Meanwhile, what do we have for MiTH?
Well, we also have 2 sentry wards and 2
2 sentry wards
observer wards as well. We'll just depend on who places them first. We're going to see if they can find each other here in the jungle. If they can go around the corner and find someone. I mean, I do think that Orange will have the slight advantage over. Oh, nice word being placed there. Slight advantage over MiTH if they do find each other, but it looks like they're just gonna miss each other. Just walk
Pass each other in the night. Yamato's gonna walk out of there. That's a great ward spot though, because usually when if that doesn't block this top camp over here, which you can't see that I'm pointing to, but it doesn't block the top camp on the left. So, oh, can you see my drawing? This?
I can see that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so that doesn't block that camp right there. So usually they'll think the ward is somewhere over here. But when you put it over here, obviously it lets you make it live a little bit longer, and they also have to clear out the right tree in order to get that. So it's a smart ward for them. It's going to give them a nice block and hopefully a lane advantage. We'll see. It's probably going to be a long lane Tidehunter in that, and they are going to run the tri-lane in the top.
Yep, and Tidehunter long lane, we've seen that more often as well. I mean, he is such a hero that will be able to stay alive for a very long time. Even though, I have to say, Morphling there, Crystal Main there, it is a very dangerous lane to be at. It could turn out pretty wrong, but we'll find out, as the Crystal Main was the one to pick up the illusion rune, and actually she went for a frostbite as a first skill. Normally we see Crystal Mains go for that Nova just to have that extra burst damage there, but doesn't look like they wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think go ahead.
Well, we have a Leshrac, finally no support Leshrac anymore, and he is up solo versus a Templar Assassin. You said that during the draft as well. I mean, Leshrac is one of those counters to the Templar Assassin with his edict just popping off the refraction in a matter of seconds. So in that sense, it does make sense. It is just something that we don't see all that often anymore, as we have some illusions running in, Mushi having to be forced back.
Yep, and this is also pretty indicative of what we suspected during the draft. Having that solo Leshrac, obviously going to give him early levels compared to if he was running support, so he's going to have Edict faster. This does indicate Orange is going to be going with that pushing lineup, and it's interesting that they put DK in this tri-lane. It looks like Coddle is going to be almost exclusively jungling, which is pretty interesting. So that's going to give him decent levels as well.
Yeah, and that is a small head start that they have over MiTH, because nobody of MiTH is actually doing that much in the jungle, because as we saw...
Yamato on the bottom lane.
Ooh, first blood.
Oh.
I saw the
that's
edge
exactly
of it.
what you were talking about.
Frostbite, Nova, we from over the top, and that is a dead Tidehunter, regardless of how tanky he is. It's just Crystal Main is one of those supports that is just very powerful early on, which is why she's picked up, giving that early advantage on the lane.
Yeah, and you're absolutely spot on before. He was in a really weird position. I'm not sure what he was trying to do. He's doing it again. He's walking all the way over here. And he might get caught out again if he's not careful.
I guess he's going to try to find the invisibility rune. And he gets it
that was bizarre.
Invisibility.
Interesting.
Well, with
but
that,
we'll have
he
to
is
see
at least able to stand on the lane and get some free experience.
Yep. That's one benefit for him. We'll have to see how this mid lane goes. If Leshrac gets shut down pretty hard, it could be bad. He's already at almost half a level disadvantage. Pretty close, yeah. So that's rough for him. He's been forced back pretty often with those side blades.
Yeah, and Crystal Main is going to use some of the bottle charges from the Templar Assassin. It looks like they want to go for this Leshrac, and they will be able to do that if they get the Frostbite in, which they don't. And Mushi is going to be able to stay alive and Edict there just to make sure that nobody dares to come close. Even though there is a smoke on Trinikup, so I'm quite curious to see if she actually is going to try to gank someone, maybe on the top lane. Because KYXY is being quite low, and he is out of regens right now. He just used his last tangos. And Ogre Matcher only level 2, Windrunner level 2, but they might be able to do something here. Actually, the level difference is quite big. Level 4 on the Dragon Knight already.
Yep, they've done a good job with this lane as well. Winter a little bit lower. Keeper of the Light only level 2. Obviously, he's not a great jungler, but In a couple of levels, it'll accelerate pretty quickly once Illuminate gets stronger.
Over there, stun there. Is there going to be a frostbite? Power shot is not hitting. And there is not going to be a kill for MiTH this time. Tower is still doing a lot of damage on the Windrunner, but she still has a couple of tangles. And a salve now given from Winter, making sure that...
In the mid lane, Templar Assassin's taking some pretty serious pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to get out with that refraction, but almost died right there. If Mushi had hit his Split Earth...
Oh, we might still see a kill. There's the stun. Is there going to be another Edict? 3 seconds for that. I think this might be turning into a kill pretty soon. There goes the Edict, and that is going to be the Templar Assassin going down. Mushi taking the advantage over the lane quite unexpectedly with help from the Tidehunter, who couldn't do anything bottom lane anyway. I mean, he's got one last hit, and up for the Morphling. It does let Morphling free farm though. Something that you shouldn't be all too happy about. I mean, we've seen this a lot in the international also. It seems that teams are okay with letting the Morphling free farm as long as they think they're getting something in return, but normally it doesn't work out the way they want it to.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think Orange does have the right idea though. I mean, this Tidehunter is probably only going to die if he remains in this lane, so him roaming out to assist other lanes and getting an advantage is probably okay. Morphling does take a while to get rolling depending on the build he goes, but he is complete free farm, almost 30 last hits at 5 minutes, so doing extremely well.
Yep. And he will continue to do well because Tidehunter really can't do that much against it. Tidehunter is level 3, of course he wants to go for that fast level 6 that Morphling already is at, by the way. But as soon as Tidehunter is level 6, we will see him roaming around more, and then we might see Orange setting their plan into motion for getting those fast towers.
Yeah, and MiTH has chose to rotate their lanes a bit. And you see the Crystal Maiden now in the top lane, so they have a sort of a pseudo tri-lane going. It's not really a true tri-lane because there's no carry there farming. I'm not sure how I feel about this choice because against this early push, I don't think you're really going to want your Morphling at a high level. You're really going to want your supports at a higher level. They're going to have a bigger impact early, and they are smoking up now, going for a kill on Winter or KYXY. If they can get either of them, it will make this tri-lane completely worth it and make me completely wrong.
I actually think they might be trying to look for the Keeper of the Light, unless they really don't know where he is. Which might be the case. Their smoke has already run off. Oh, Courier! Scouts them out.
Uh-oh.
Gonna get microed away from there, and that marks the end of that attempted gank.
That's over.
Yeah. Even though I have to say, I mean, the ward that's there for the dire side, I don't think that they saw them smoking up, but I'm not 100%.
Oh, they do it again. What?
And another one in the middle of the ward.
Yeah, we'll see if they were paying attention. They saw those disappear off the map. We see them rotating now towards the mid lane. They're going to try to recapture that lane advantage that was already lost by the TA, but it looks like Mushi might be aware of it, or if he's just backing up with the creeps. We'll see in a second. Oh, nope. He might die. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, even though, I mean, it's only level 2 Ogre Magi, but then again, TA with there as well. He can't just run away, escape over the river as soon as he sees them, but he has to see them first. And in the meantime, I mean, I can't really look at there with my camera right now because I want to see if Mushi is gonna die, which might be the case. There's the melt damage. Nova is on there. He's gonna try to do something. Is there gonna be a stun? No, there is not gonna be anything else from the Leshrac. He goes down to the Ogre Magi. And look at the stack that X is doing in the jungle.
Okay, this makes a lot more sense now. Yeah, well, once that Illuminate gets up to a higher level, he's going to be able to destroy the Scream Camp. It's not even going to take long at this level.
Nope.
Oh my god, this is hilarious. It's pretty smart. I mean, Keeper Light has that huge base damage, so he's going to be a little bit behind in levels compared to the rest of the players on the field, but the big advantage here is KYXY. He's already at level 6. Leshrac in the middle, already at level 7, so this is going to be the prime pushing time starting up here in just a minute or two for Orange if they choose to go with that. I think they should. It's unfortunate that Tidehunter has gotten picked on a couple times. He's not level 6 quite yet, but pretty big level advantage here for the Dire.
Yeah, with only the Morphling that is actually really high for MiTH, and I mean, like you said, Morphling will continue farming. He will not be actively participating in fights while he can free farm. So that is a small comfort for Orange. That is the only reason why their level advantage is because experience-wise, if you look at the experience difference on the charts, it's still at 0. But that is just because it is Morphling free farming. But we don't have to worry about them anyway, or at least Orange doesn't. And there comes Crystal Main from the side. Frostbite on the Dragonite. Will there be a stun? Yes, there will be. This might be turning into a kill. There we go. Power shot finishing it off. He almost landed a breath still on the Windrunner though, but not gonna happen. And a quick kill for MiTH as, well, nicely staged by the Crystal Main. And I have to say, nice warding from both teams.
Yeah, there's been really great wards, especially in this top lane.
Yeah.
There's wards everywhere.
Sentry wards as well. And there comes X actually finally leaving his lane. He's level 5.
Yeah, he just killed that giant creep camp, so he's ready to go now. And I imagine this form up is going to signal the beginning of their pushes. We'll see Leshrac eventually move over here. He's going to try to pressure this TA a bit and then move out of the lane, I think. But with Coddle coming back in the lane, you know that means they're going to start trying to do something, because if they wouldn't, he would just continue farming. But like you were saying before, the graph, the XP graph, is pretty even. But effectively, it's really a huge advantage for Orange, because like you said, this Morphling is not going to be involved in these early fights. He's just going to continue free farming down here. So it's going to depend how much damage can Orange do at the cost of Morphling free farm. So see if they can get it done. I don't know if they're going to be able to. They're not looking too aggressive yet. Now they're out. There's the ultimate. Now they're going to move up. And
there's a Dragon form indeed. Yeah, the only thing they missed is still the Ravage, but so far Tidehunter is trying to get some experience in the jungle now also. Not quite sure what he really wants to do, but oh well. We're gonna hello.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, kind of indicating that we might see some action on the bottom lane pretty soon.
Radiant's top tower is
and we do see some action from MiTH as well, as they're roaming around, gonna try to find the Rubik. And they do find the Rubik. Will there be a trap? Not just yet. There is a trap slowing down Winter. There's gonna be Ogre Magi who's still level 4. The meantime though, there's still... Well, never mind. It's gonna be Ogre Magi that's gonna take a lot of damage here. Yamate there as well, and it's gonna be Ogre Magi that dies. Just like Rubik just died from the Templar Assassin as well. Crystal Main will drop here as well, and it's gonna be the Templar Assassin that has to back away. Windrunner, I can't believe she stayed alive there. 26 HP. With the Coddle trying to do what he could. We didn't really follow that with the camera, but that was action all over the place. But Windrunner being forced back, this might mark the start of the push, as I do think the Tidehunter got level 6 by that kill, and he does, and he got mana boots. Not doing too bad for a Tidehunter that's been shut down that much, but he's been at 3 kills so far out of the 3 kills that have been done, so, you know, not doing that bad at all.
Yeah, and Extinct's now back to the jungle. I think they're just trying to get level 6 up on Winter.
Almost,
and then I imagine as soon as this Dragon form comes back, they're going to start pushing. It's taking them a long time, though. They need to get moving along here. This Morphling's only going to get bigger. We see as 80 CS at 11 minutes. Quite impressive.
Yeah, that is almost maximum. 83 at 10 minutes, I think, is the maximum.
Yeah, he probably hasn't missed a creep in the last couple minutes. But now he's getting some pressure by Yamata and Mushi, who they have a really nice split push lineup as well. In the top lane, there's some action, though.
Yeah, indeed. We have Rubik going down to the Windrunner with a power shot there. A long-range stun on the Ogre Magi, as I do think that Ogre Magi will drop here. Keeper of the Lights, Illuminate finishing it off. There's still Windrunner alive. She got phased, which she will be heading out of there again. And Templar Assassin in the meantime killing off the Titan. The Templar Assassin very low is gonna stay alive with the bottle charges. And I do think that the Ravage was used to do that, because Morphling dropped here in this bottom lane at the same time as the action happened on the top lane. So Tidehunter and Leshrac 1 for 1, but definitely good trade. Tidehunter for a Morphling, first time that the Morphling died, and the tower tier 1 goes down on the top lane as the Shackle hits on the Dragonite, but nobody is gonna die here anymore. Not enough damage to follow it up on.
And what I was going to say is, Orange has 2 very strong pushing forces here. They can use the Dragon with Rubik, and then they can use Tidehunter with Leshrac, and both of those can push down the tier 1. We saw top lane already go down. We saw them get a kill on the Morphling in the bottom lane, and now they're going to try to initiate some pressure on this. They might get a little bit of help from the mid lane. We'll see if Winter comes over. He has Refraction, so oh my god, that crit.
Oh. There you go. We see Winter running away. He has Refraction indeed, so able to stay alive a bit longer. Leshrac actually going in there. Edict on, no Refraction possible for the Templar. That's a nice stun, but no follow-up. The one who does go down is the Ogre Magi, who just was overextending slightly too much. Here comes the Tidehunter. No Ravage just yet. Lands a gush on the Templar Assassin, but I do think he should be fine, especially now that he... Oh, anyway, never mind. Dragonite from the side by Rubik Fate Vault, ending his life. Dragonite's done from the side, helping that out. Shackle doesn't latch on the Tidehunter. Morphling coming out of his lane for the first time. Powers up goes through. Yamate goes down. Morphling with from through. Gets the kill. Buyback from the TA. They want to go for more here. Mushi running away. Stun on the Rubik. I do not think that he will go down. Oh, Power Shot doesn't hit on the strike. Actually, we
oh my god.
Double kill for the Morphling. You don't want the Morphling free farming, but they accept the Morphling free farming. And the moment he gets off his lane, he gets a double kill.
Double kill. Yeah.
That is painful.
Not good. Not good at all. Nope. And now KYX might die as well. He looks pretty dead.
He's gonna land his stun still. We force through on the by the Morphling again, though. Ravage being used, but still Dragonite will drop. Tidehunter kills off the Windrunner on the side, but is it gonna be enough? He's gonna try to go for the Ogre Magi, but it's just too risky with Lakel's running around there, and Lakel's actually not done just yet. Reforming through, gets a gush in the face, now morphing into strength. Telekinesis there as well, but I do think he will be fine. It is a Morphling, or will he not be fine? Mushi here as well. Nova Edict, a lot of damage, and he does go down. Lurshrak picking up the kill.
By my edict.
Yeah, and a bit of overextension punish.
Yep.
Yeah. But a good thing to look at this, there are 2 towers down for Orange, but what I'll say is MiTH has done a pretty textbook job of how to deal with this really, really aggressive tower pressure. Just keep the pressure on your enemy instead, make it so they can't form up as 3 or 4, and they won't be able to push into your tier 2s. If they lose their tier 1s, it's okay. They still have a Morphling and a TA, both who are farming pretty well. TA is actually not farming very well, but a couple kills for her. And if they can survive with all their tier 2s by like the 20-minute mark, they're probably going to be fine in this game. Morphling's going to get really big and carry them through. But Orange still has a huge opportunity. Rubik is extremely strong right now. He essentially has an extra level 4 ability, which right now is Morph, so he's finally been able to grab that. Now he's much tankier, almost 1400 health on a level 8 Rubik.
Yep. And I mean, like you said, basically, if you look at these lineups on paper, you think, wow, a lot of aggression here from Lakel's, who's gonna get a telekinesis and stun on the Templar. 4 heroes here on Myth. There is no Ravage just yet. I don't know what Yamate wants to do. He lands an Anchor Smash, gets a kill on the Crystal Main, but he will go down to the Morphling. Buys back though, teleports back here as well. Here comes the Dragonite in his Dragon form, landing a stun on the Morphling. Another Anchor Smash there. Shackle up on the Tidehunter. Stun from Leshrak, hit up on the Templar Assassin. Nova there. Edict, no uncool.
Morphling's got it rough again.
Another stun. Templar Assassin will drop, and Morphling will be able to stay alive. But a buyback from the Tidehunter though.
He got a kill out of it, but I don't know why he bought back. He didn't have Ravage.
Yep, I am not sure. I don't know why he walked in there just for a kill on the Crystal Main either. But I mean, I got the Templar Assassin, which is nice, and 5 heroes now of Orange. I guess they kind of needed to do that to be able to stay alive with the 5 of them, because what I was going to say is that if you look on paper, it's going to be Orange that should be having the early game advantage, and MiTH that has the late game advantage. But right now, like you already said, MiTH is doing a good job making sure that that early game advantage for Orange is just not there. And then this buyback from Yamate will make sure that he is they're at least able to stay together right now. Powers will go through, and the Ravage is up now, but not enough mana on Mushi to really go for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Orange has done okay. Like, they've gotten all the tier 1 towers. If they can get a really strong gank right now, they should be able to get a tier 2, maybe 2 tier 2s, depending on how the team fight goes. They smoked up, so that's what they want to do. We'll see if they can make it happen. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, they find the Windrunner.
Oh wow, Soul Boost run.
There's the gush. There's no mana actually for a Windrunner or anything. There are phase books on the Windrunner. She will use those to try to get away successfully. So, I mean, Mechanism up on the Keeper of Light, so they are preparing for the more team fight ability. And Leshrak actually, I haven't seen solo Leshrak in a while, but since there is a solo mid Leshrak, he has already got a soul booster complete. So he is doing quite good for himself there as well. So they are able to stay alive for a long time. That is my point. If they're gonna have a 5-on-5 team fight, they're gonna be able to, if they win the team fight, to get something in return. They don't have to back off instantly afterwards.
Also, we see a ton of burst out of Myth. If they live through that initial burst, they live through that initial burst, they'll probably be just fine in the fight. There's a huge amount of sustained damage out of Orange. They've got Rubik, who can keep stealing spells, keep putting out damage. Coddle, which is pretty continuous. The cooldown on Illuminate is not very long. Obviously, Leshrac, continuous damage source as well. And Dragon Knight pretty much just has right-click and spam on Breathe Fire, so he's back to farming. They don't really need him to push right now. If they pushed as 4 into 2, they'd probably be able to get something done, but smart move for them not to move in right now. It's not worth it. Can't risk it.
Yep, and I think
can't move in 4v4.
Again. Or not.
They should try to catch someone out and then push into the tower, I think.
Yeah, it looks like MiTH is prepared for that though. I mean, they have the Morphling farming, or at least Morphling farming as well as the Templar Assassin.
Interesting. He's going for a BKB. That's
Morphling is, yeah.
Not standard, yeah.
Well, I guess there is a lot of disable coming off from Orange, so I do think that is a good choice. And it looks like Orange wants to go for something, but is not going to be able to find anybody anymore. And everybody backs off, even though it is 5 versus 4 here, because everybody of MiTH here on this bottom lane. And not everybody of Orange here on this bottom lane in return. I mean, they don't have the Dragon Knight, as you said.
Oh, they're bringing him over right now with Blinding Light. Here he is.
Nice.
Now they're going to start this tower push. That's a really nice addition to have Keeper of the Light. I forgot about his recall for a second, not Blinding Light. But that's going to be really nice. And with this push strat, they can split push, they can feign a split push, and then make it a full-on push. They have tons of options with that ultimate. And now they're going to make short work of this tower. Level 4 Edict in Dragon Form brings that down extremely quickly.
Basically, they're saying, you know what, we're going to take your tower, and if you want to do something against it, we got a Ravage, so bring it on. And MiTH, rightfully so, not wanting to go in there. I mean, they don't have the advantage, so they just let the tower go, and that is actually indeed the first tier 2 tower going down. And look at Orange, they just want to go for more. They want to go for Roshan, keeping the advantage. I do think that MiTH knows that that's going on. They have a ward there. They smoke up. They're on the way there. We also have a mechanism up on the Windrunner, able to survive that initial burst coming off from the Orange side. And I don't think Roshan is going down fast enough for them to be able to continue to go for that one. There's the trap. They find out. Orange backing off.
So something I want to point out here, Morphling just sold his Ring of Health in order to finish his BKB. This is a pretty big victory for Orange. It's going to make Morphling take him a little bit longer to build up any crucial items, and they forced him into getting this BKB just because of the unbelievably large multitudes of magic damage they have. Between Rubik, Leshrac, Keeper of the Light, Dragon Knight, and Ravage, like, oh my god. They're making them get a BKB, and that's going to slow them down a lot. That's really good for them.
They're going to catch out the Ogre Magi. Slightly behind on the rest of his team retreating, and he paid for that with his life, and that will give Orange the edge that they need to take down his next tier 2 tower. And Orange really, they have set their plan in motion. They're like, you know what, we're done farming, and we're just going to push.
Yeah, and Yamata is so ready for them to push up.
Yep.
He's like, do it. You won't do it.
I want a Ravage, I want a Ravage! Where's the Ravage? No Ravage yet.
Sad, Rubik got morphed again. He was hoping for a waveform, but...
Nope, not gonna happen. Doesn't have any more agility to morph out of.
Oh, god, Illuminate is so good. If they keep this pressure on, this tower could probably go down. Now Orange is doing a really good job with his aggression. The gold lead for them is pretty significant, 5,000 at 20 minutes.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job. I mean, not only keeping the pressure on, and they will be able to take the tower, but also this pressure will make sure that Morphling cannot move away. Wow, look at that damage, and now he pops his BKB only. He wants to go for some reforming through. They're gonna find Yamate, who already did his Ravage. It's gonna stay alive, though. Ogre Magi not gonna be so lucky. Keeper of the Light getting the last hit. Gush on the illusion on the Dragon Knight, but he will drop as well. That is one down and a tower down. Ravage was used as well. BKB charge, at least that's good, but I was kind of expecting Orange to get more out of that fight. But they get the tier 2.
They were hoping to get Morphling, but he popped his BKB literally like in between when he was stunned and when the Ravage popped. They didn't chain it together quite right, and they weren't able to grab him because of that. He could waveform back. They would have killed him if that stun had hit, but they took the tier 2. That was their main objective. If MiTH had made a couple big mistakes, they perhaps could have gotten the tier 4 and maybe damaged the racks, but I think that's what they were looking for. They're going to do that again in about a minute on the top lane, maybe a little bit more than a minute. They want to wait for a Ravage, and then they'll try to force a fight and push into racks, perhaps after taking Roshan, but they've got a couple options right now. They've done pretty much what they've set out to do. They're at almost a 7,500 gold advantage. Morphling having to get that BKB first slows him down a lot. He's not as effective, and they're smoked up.
Yep, and they're looking for something. And actually, Morphling is in there as well. Maybe they want to go for Roshan. They're gonna find Orange though, who's looking to do something there as well. May not be smoking up. Oh, they find someone. Windrunner, there they go. Nice shackle on the Leshrac. Power Stone will go through. Fade Bolt will make sure that MiTH is actually not quite sure how many heroes are waiting there in the jungle, so they back off.
Team is being pretty standoffish right now. Both want Roshan really badly. If Orange can get Roshan, it's gonna help them get a quick Rax. If MiTH gets it, and they put it on Morphling, it could be extremely bad for Orange, but we'll see.
Yep.
And they actually, they fainted the Roche, now they smoked up.
Yeah, it does look like, you see the drawing from the Crystal Maiden on the minimap, they knew that they were going there, so maybe they're giving away Roshan right now, they're backing off so far.
It's going to be hard for MiTH to hold this. Yeah, it's going to be hard for MiTH to hold this if they grab Roshan. An extra life on either DK or Leshrac is extremely obnoxious for them. If it's on Leshrac, that's a ton more damage that they can put out. If it's on Dragon Knight, it's just a lot more damage as well. It's going to be hard no matter what. Extinct's doing a nice job of repelling them back with that Illuminate.
Yeah, making
there's
sure
not really anything they can do.
They're not going to get anything in return either. I mean, no tier 1 tower going down just because of that Illuminate. They want to go for this though, or at least they're thinking about it.
And there's the Dragon Form. They should be able to get it.
Yeah, they should be able to get it. Maybe Lekels wants to try to go for it. Steal the agent. Look at him, he wants to go, but he wants to steal the agent. It's Dragon Knight that picks it up though. He pops his BKB on Morphling at least on his way out. Gonna try to go for something, and this Tidehunter that will still do his Ravage before having to run out of this fight, and it is Morphling that goes down. They want to go for more Ogre Magi on the run from the Dragon. Will be able to beat them. Lands a stun, no multicast for you. He's gonna maybe try to get himself the Night Knight. He's gonna try to keep you out, but no can do. Fate Bolt ending his life. At least Windrunner was able to go out of that one. Templar has some things, you know what? I'm not part of this fight, I'm just gonna fight Ancients.
Yeah, and that went well. Yeah, that went well for Orange though. I mean, they got Morphling, so that's probably worth 3 heroes in itself, and they only had to lose 1, and Tidehunter was able to live long enough for Morphling's BKB to turn off, and he ravaged right then. He died soon afterwards, a Templar Assassin, but completely worth it. And they've got the Aegis. One thing to note, MiTH did get the Roshan kill, so that's a small amount of gold for them that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise, and it takes it away, obviously, from Orange, but they still got the Aegis, which was really what they wanted. They need this extra push.
Yeah, and I'm seeing X now on the Keeper of the Light having bought a Ghost Scepter, and normally I applaud that because you want to be able to stay alive due to from the Templar Assassin damage, but at the same time you're kind of helping the Morphling, because you know we see Morphling's Ethereal Blaze being built for a reason, and that Ghost Scepter is kind of helping him doing that extra damage with his Adaptive Strike, which is actually level 4 already.
Yep, it's going to be extremely important how he uses that. I imagine he'll probably use it more to run away at the very last second.
Yeah.
Because at that point it's going to be a lot harder for them. Hopefully all the cooldowns will be spent on the big damage magic spells. But you're right, if he activates that accidentally or thinking it's okay in the middle of a fight, he could get exploded extremely quickly. Only 986 health for him.
Yep, and not only...
And they got the tier 2.
Yeah, not only the Adaptive Strike, of course also the Ogre Magi Fire Blast.
Yep. Or Power Shot, or Nova, or there's tons of things that could explode him if he's not careful. So.
Yep. And right now,
we'll see.
With the tier 2 tower down, last tier 2 tower that is the end of Orange's free gold. They have to do it with the gold that they have right now. Gold graph is in favor of them, 7,500 gold. But that is basically only the towers.
Leshrac has a boatload of money.
Oh, 3.3k gold.
Yeah, it's going to buy BKB next. Winter's a little low, but he's playing extreme support this game. Maybe he'll grab a 4-staff at one point to make it so he doesn't die as easily. What is Tidehunter building? Survivability, basically, and then a 4-staff, I think. I think he resigned to the fact that he's never really going to get a Blink Dagger. It's going to be extremely hard for him to save up all that money just because they're going with this really aggressive push strat. But a Force Staff will do almost the same thing. It's not nearly as good, but if you're really good with your Force Staffs, there it is. It's finished up, so hopefully this will give him the positioning he needs. He's going to Force Staff onto the high ground, Ravage, and then they'll follow him up there. And if they get a good attack off, they should be able to take racks. They're extremely strong right now.
Yeah.
So this is the point in the game when they're going to excel. He has a gem as well.
Yeah, if they take too long in this stage of the game, they will end up losing it to the Morphling. But right now, like you said, they're on top of their game. At the same time, though, first tower drops on the side of Orange themselves on the top lane, and well, that gold difference that they have right now, it's only based on towers, and they really need to do more extra. They pipe up. They want to go for this tower. Is there going to be enough defense? Templar Assassin is not here just yet. There's the fortification. Keeper of the Light keeping everybody at bay.
Illuminate is so good for zoning.
Yeah.
Just makes them back up so far.
And this tower is dropping fairly fast.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And nothing being lost here. Half the tower
Dire's middle
down.
tower has
And they
fallen.
don't lose
for
a
nothing.
single thing. For free.
No Ravage yet.
Dire's top tower
And
is
something I
under
do
attack.
want to point out again, look at the ward coverage here for Orange. This is something we see Navi doing extremely often, but we'll talk about it in a second as they're pushing into the tier 3.
Yeah, there goes Morphling. BKBs are on. They want to go for someone. It's the Shrek that's already back now. The only one still in the middle of all of that is the Dragonite, but he has the Aegis, so even if he dies, it doesn't matter all too much. And he doesn't even die. They take the tower, they don't use Ravage, they use the Dragon form, but you know, very short cooldown anyway, and they stay alive. The tower gets denied, yeah, okay, but you know, it still goes down. And one
that was
edict at the
incredibly
side of the
successful.
barracks will finish off the barracks, and that next push, Orange definitely in the lead. And yeah, just going over the wards. There's a ward. There's ward. They basically ward every path there
Everything.
is. If you want to.
And so what I was going to say about this,
yeah.
yeah, if you leave your base, we're going to kill you. And this is how Navi is so effective with their push strats, because they make it so after the 25-minute mark, you can't do anything. You can't go farm, you can't go jungle, you can't like attempt to push out your lane, because if you do, they're going to have perfect vision on you and they're going to kill you. This is solidified by that gem that Yamata has, and now they're moving in for the final assault on these barracks. Is the BKB. The BKBs are just about off cooldown, so Yamato is probably going to have to wait again to use that Ravage. But
there's no fortification, and look at that edict. That is why Leshrac was is such a hero that gets picked up so early, and that's already the raised barracks. Now, nice shackle though. Here comes the blink here from the TA. Dragonite's Aegis will be used. Illuminate will make sure that maybe some will be able to back off, even though Winter's still trying to get away from that Morphling. Ravage being used. Gosh, the Ogre Magi. They make use of the Morphling who was away from his team. He is actually being forced out of his base. Can't do anything. Crystal Maiden will drop as well. Supports are dead. Double kill for the Dragonite. They are not done yet. Winter's still alive. Gets an urn charge. Well, actually melt damage will make an end of him. Stun up on the Morphling who's out of mana.
oh, nice stun.
Into strength anymore. Triple kill for KYXY. And they can just continue going here.
yep, this is not the end of the game for MiTH, but this is a huge blow in the direction for Orange here. They did use the Ravage, but they had to use it eventually, so trading it for racks is really great. Now they're going to keep continuing with this map control, making it so MiTH can't leave the base to farm, making it so Morphling stays under control. And now the other thing you have to keep in mind is that this whole bottom lane is half the farm for Morphling.
Yeah. And Dragonite getting shackled, getting stunned, getting slowed, is going to try to TP out. All the disables are used, and he will be fine. He will be fine indeed, as Keeper of the Light is going to be out of there as well. And yeah, I mean, half the farm indeed, half the value of all the creeps, and Morphling actually went down in that encounter. They played it so safe, or at least so, well, safe. They played it so smart. Morphling wanted to chase up on Winter, he reformed through, was on the other side of the fight because of it, and at that time, everybody of Orange moved into the base of MiTH. There was a Ravage, and the supports got just picked up, and they couldn't do anything anymore. It was very safe. And actually, Leshrac not going for a BKB, but he's going for Shiva's guard. No, I picked it up.
Interesting. Not what I would have expected, but still an extremely useful item when you're pushing extremely hard. The slow is really good. The damage also pretty helpful, obviously, because generally when someone's defending, they're pretty grouped up at the top of the ramp. Makes them pretty susceptible to Ravage, and if Yamata can get a good 4-staff in with their Ravage, you better be careful here, Morphling.
Yeah.
But if what I was saying, if he can get a good Ravage off, that's going to stack the Shivas, and then they're going to be slowed after the Ravage, make time for the entire team to move up. Mushi's going to put out tons of damage as Leshrac, and they're going to be doing exactly what they want. 13 charges on that Bloodstone. That's a lot of charges.
They don't have a Ravage just yet? Well, actually they do. They have a Ravage, and they're just going to do the same thing that they did on the bottom lane earlier. But this time on the top lane. Tower already slightly damaged here.
And Yamata's going for a Bloodstone on Tidehunter as well. And look at the mana regen. Well, we can't see it now because it's full, but the mana regen on Mushi is like 26. It's pretty good. It's going to make him be able to keep that ultimate on for a really long time.
Yeah, and look at that. They just say, we're taking your tier 3 tower. Fight us if you dare. Multicast on the Dragonite. He doesn't have an Aegis this time, but so far still being kept alive. Tower is still alive. 90 HP only, though. Will drop very shortly. And they don't use anything just yet, apart from the Dragon form. Again, Morphling wants to take the fight outside of the base. Pops his BKB, getting slowed by a trap there. Or sorry, the trap obviously hit on the Dragonite because it was from a TA, but they're getting forced back into their base. BKBs are now used already. Leshrac having to force back. There's a Ravage. There goes the tower as well. Shortly, Ogre Magi will drop. We might see Morphling drop here as well. He's reforming through to his base back, and there's a double kill for KYX as he takes down the TA. Barracks go down, or at least will go down. There's nothing they can do to stop this right now.
And something I want to mention, Yamata's patience during that entire fight. He was just sitting there waiting forever for those BKBs to be gone, and there are a couple points there. It would have been pretty easy for him to pop a BKB for a kill, but waiting for the more kills so they can swing around just like this and grab another set of racks and essentially end the game.
It's gonna be Lakel walking into strength. He can't really do anything. Look at that Illuminate going through as well. Windrunner having to back up. Stun through on Leshrac though. Will
Look
be
at that
able to stay alive,
damage.
but he is so tanky. He is so tanky so far. BKB again on the Morphling and again a defensive one. And he is indeed gonna get away with that. Telekinesis up Ogre Magi,
so aggressive.
who goes down so fast. A MiTH.
I love this play by Orange.
And they're playing it very safe. They could go mid right now, but it's actually one of them is actually backing off. But then again, there's the recall, so yeah, never mind. Everybody is there again. They don't need to leave. Never need to leave. It's like Hotel California right here.
And now MiTH's gonna be in a really hard place to hold this off. I think they're pretty done. They had the right idea with the aggressiveness in the mid game to try to make it so they couldn't form up, but they really didn't have an answer. Like we were talking about during the draft, what do they have to deal with this super strong push? Nova and like Power Shot? That's pretty much it.
Yep.
So that's the result. They didn't get the lane advantage they need.
They did do a good job, but the pushing power was just too strong. And as soon as Orange thought, you know what, we're gonna team fight you. Well, then it was kind of over. Leshrac dominating as he takes a kill. Takes a double kill on the supports, actually. GG being called. That will mean that Orange will make it through to the grand finals, and MiTH still as being dropped down to the losers bracket and will face up against either AM, PM, or Mineski. Whichever of the teams is winning right now in the game that is going on at the same time as this one. But they will be having to fight again in the second last game before going on to the grand final. Ravage in the middle of the base. Yamate doesn't mind about fountain damage.
No problem.
No problem. He might die though.
Easy.
He's actually staying alive. And yeah, so World Cyber Games Asian Championships winner bracket first grand finalist announced. Orange is gonna be the one to have the winners bracket advantage. Also one game in the best out of 3 that will follow later today on the ground stage of the Kuala Lumpur Convention Center.
Yeah, pretty shining display by Orange, I would say. They completely showed what they're going to do during the draft, and MiTH, with probably not quite the proper response and near perfect execution by Orange, they're able to take the game pretty convincingly. Not a single tower down for MiTH. They didn't take one. Oh, they took that one in the top lane. Besides that, nothing. It's pretty terrible. Pretty sad for them.
Yep, and I just heard that Mineski vs AMPM has got a slight delay, so they only are 5 minutes into the game, so we will have to wait until the next game goes off. But Anyway, we'll switch overlays. We're gonna see more Dota later on. And thank you for watching.